Good evening, everyone. Eric, last time you were here, right? I remember that you brought like um, it was like a bag, not a bag, a container, right? Full of earplugs, right? Because you said that, you sometimes you talk too loud or something, right? I think I spoke too like low. Nobody heard me, I guess, right? Or everybody is still wearing the plugs. Maybe, I don't know. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Oh, good, good. So I was mistaken. It was just that. So I'm glad we're back. This is, this is loud tonight. Um, Second Monday of each month, and every second Monday of the month, we have a meeting in English. And 2 months ago, we had Eric here for the first time. That was December. Then last month we had Hendrik. That was kept going with the Gospel according to Spiritism, as we usually do. And the beginning of this year, there was something that happened also for the first time, which was the English meetings now are being transmitted online, or they have been being online live on our website, on the YouTube, our YouTube channel. But last month we started also putting it live on Kardec Radio's YouTube channel. Vanessa asked us if we could do it, and I said, of course. I mean, the more people watch it, the better. And so this is actually our second time going live on our YouTube channel, but also on Kardec Radio's channel. And tonight we have another first, which is Maria Plummer is tonight with us, and she's gonna talk to us about for people who are here, they're seeing the topic there. If there's anyone online now, Loved Before Memory, A Journey Back to the Father's Heart, which is an intriguing title. Why, right? A lot of questions in my mind. So it's really, really good to have you here. And we not only have Maria, but Eric is here too. And Mr. Figueroa is here too. And we have our group of friends. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera showing everybody. But not everybody likes to be seen online. So, which I guess it's fine. So, what are we going to do tonight? Then we're going to have a little prayer, and then I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to read a passage from this book from Chico Xavier in the Spirit Emmanuel, the Way, the Truth, and the Life, which we started very recently. We are only on our third message of this book, and everybody knows, or a lot of people know, that these books, they have 180 messages. So the previous book, we just finished. I think we started this book when Eric was here, the first one, I guess, I think so. And the other book, we read it for 180 months, right? Because it's like every month one message. So it was a long time reading a book. And now we're starting this one. We're on message number 3, and I'm going to read it and make a brief comment. And I'm already speaking and talking too much here. Because people really want to hear is Maria, not myself, right? So let's do our initial prayer. If we want to close our eyes so that we can connect even further um, with our Master Jesus, with God, the one that created us, that inspires us always and gives us love, gives us hope. And let's think about the love that we receive every single day of our lives by saying, Dear God, we would like to thank you for the opportunity of being here on this earth at this very moment, so that we can do our part in the job of turning this world into a better place. Tonight, we are gathering here with the hope, as always, that the messages, the good feelings, the embraces, the smiles, the sentiment that we have for every single person, discarnated or incarnated spirit that are here, that these feelings, they help us feel your love so that we can recharge our batteries for our daily lives. So help us, dear God, not only to understand the message, but more importantly, to feel it, to make it part of ourselves, of our eyes, our ears, so that whenever we speak, whatever we hear and see, we see through the lenses of love and of compassion. So may your love reach deep within us, and may it be with us always and always. So be it. So, like I said, let's read a message. I'm just going to if Fabrizio, if you can just put the message name there so people can see the message name. Thank you. I'm just going to read it again. I'll say it again. This is the book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life. And the message that we're going to read tonight is message number 3, which is entitled, Examine Yourself. And Paul, the apostle, he wrote a letter to the Philippians, and on chapter number 2, verse number 3, he said, Let nothing be done in strife or vainglory, but in humility. And Emmanuel makes usually the message goes 2 full pages, but this message is shorter. It's like a page and a half or less than a page and a half. And he says the following: Jesus's work is endless. It doesn't end. Within the orbit of this work, there is a place for every person and every healthy, salutary idea. If in the divine order each tree produces according to its own kind, in the Christian endeavor each disciple contributes according to his or her level of evolution. A human lifetime is not a season of pleasure. A person is here for the purpose of learning, and in this endeavor, he or she should take advantage of the opportunity to learn and enable others to do the same. The Apostle Paul understood this truth, stating that we should not do anything in a spirit of strife or vainglory, but in humility. And then he talks specifically to us. When you do something that goes beyond the scope of your daily duties, examine your reasons for doing so. If it is the result of an unjust desire for control, or if it is only due to an unnecessary argument, then watch your heart so that your path may be less troublesome. But if you were just doing what you were supposed to, then even if you were seen as being strict and demanding, inflexible or unfaithful, then accept the unjustified observation and carry on. Just keep doing your job, remembering that as Jesus served others with humility, without strife or vainglory, he himself was seen as imprudent and rebellious, a traitor to the law and an enemy of the people, but that he received his glorious crown on the cross. This is a message that, we can spend hours and hours talking about it. Because humility is something that, first of all, is very hard to achieve. Because sometimes we think that to be humble is just to say, oh no, I'm not like this. I'm not as good as the other person. Being humble is not saying what you are or saying that you are. Is accepting who you are, as you are, the way you are, the moment you are. And that's being humble, is to understand that you are who you are, that you can be better, but you're still not there. And then you keep working to get there, which you realize that will take a long time. So you don't blame yourself, you forgive yourself, and then you try to make it better. Then you try to be less selfish, try to be less proud. So it is not easy, because one thing pulls another, that pulls another, that pulls another. The way he ends this message by saying that Jesus did nothing to make himself bigger than what he was. And I remember the passage when someone comes to him and calls him a good master. And he says, good is only the Father who are in heaven. He doesn't accept being called good. But he doesn't say anything about being a master. Therefore, he is, and he knows that he is master. And that's being humble. If you know that you are a master, then what's wrong in saying or accepting that you are a master? So that's the idea of why should we strive to do things in humility. If I have a task to perform, and in my sane mind, I really understand that I need to do that, and I will do that the best that I can, to a certain degree, or to the highest and utmost degree. It doesn't really matter what the world says about me or about us. If I'm doing it the right thing at the right time, for the right person, for the right reasons, and that's how he ends the message. Jesus did all that, and they crucified him. And he was correct, but he was not saying, I am correct, I am this, or I am that. No, he was just doing his work. And what did he get back from doing what he did? He got crucified and got a crown of thorns, not horns, thorns. And why are we expecting something different? And that's the main question, is if, we sometimes forget that lesson, and we think that when we do the best thing, the best that we can, and we are really doing good stuff, then everybody's going to say, oh, you're really good, and comes and pats ourselves on the back and say, hey, you're doing a great job. Yeah, that's what they did to Jesus, right? No, that's not what they did to him. So our job is really to try to do the best that we can and do the best that we can. And if we're being recognized or not, if we are our conscience is really um, clear of the way we're doing things with humility, not really expecting anything more than the result of the work, be it in a short term or long term, we should keep doing it and doing it. So once again, just to finalize and invite Maria to come up here, let nothing be done in strife or vainglory, but in humility. Chapter number 3, examine ourselves or examine yourself. And having said that, Maria, thank you for coming tonight, and she's going to talk to us about Loved Before Memory, a journey back to the Father's heart. And let's journey together.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I appreciate. Truly, it's an honor for me to be here today and talk about this topic. It is really close to my heart. It is a journey that I hope you walk with me, and it has a little surprise as far as my journey as well, and it gets to allow me to share a little bit of me with you. And I hope it does touch your heart because truly it's meant and created with a lot of love. So, Loved Before Memory, a journey back to the Father's heart. So, for me, may the Father who is love and the Son who revealed love and the Spirit who sustained love be the loving light that always guides us. Remember that you are loved more than you remember, more than you believe, and more than you have yet to become. I remember as I was creating this class and talking about love, I don't know if you guys ever thought about this, but kisses, like a kiss to me is so special and so powerful. And I'm thinking, you know, when I was born, who was the first one who gave me a kiss? Who was that person? Was it my mom? Was it my dad? Was it my siblings? I just, I didn't remember. And it was hard. It was hard not to understand and, you know, where that kiss might have come from. So for me, what matters deeply is the fact that we had complete forgetfulness of that first kiss. And it was a kiss that was given with love, but yet I don't remember it. So I wonder if you guys ever thought about the first kiss that you've received that you don't remember, but truly was packed with love. And it's important for us to know, what is love that exists before memory. So if I don't have any memory of that first kiss, how is that journey moving forward? How did that help me? How did, I perceive that? How did the person that gave me that kiss also feel during those moments? So it's important for us to understand, our journeys as well as Jesus comes to reveal our Father who loved us before we remembered him, to open the path to teaching. I also following the examples of kiss. So for me as a child, that was a positive kiss. But I also telling you a little bit about me. When I was 9 years old, I come from a big family. I have four brothers and nine sisters. And our faith, being born, we were Catholics. And our house was always filled with people. No matter what room you went to, you were never alone, literally never alone. Not the bathroom, not the kitchen, not the bedroom. There was no place in this household that you would be by yourself. Yet, it was important for us to, gather and be together. So I never knew what it was to be alone, to not have someone next to you. And I remember as we were growing within this faith that we were born into, that we had members of the church, they would go to our house and then they would teach us the stories of the Bible. One of the stories that stuck in my head was the kiss of Judas, because to me that was so powerful. One kiss had so much power So I started, even at that age, I remember pondering like, that is that is so deep, so important. Because as I'm remembering, the first kiss from my mom or from my dad, whoever gave me that first kiss, it was intentional with love. But this one was different. This was not given with love. It was actually calculated. It was a betrayal. It was self-interest. It also created fear, and it was through material ambition. A kiss that is different from the first one I received in this whole entire world. One kiss forgotten by a child, but born of love, and another kiss remembered by the world because it was actually just constantly told. The story was always being told to you, so you remember that kiss. You remember that story of Judas with the kiss to the Christ. So to me, that was important to understand that understanding of those different aspects of kisses and loves. So that was love. Love is not validated by memory. Love is validated by the intention. And in this specific kiss, there was an intention behind it. And it's important for us to understand that there's many different formats. How many of us have kissed someone with a different intention or just said hello and never meant it? How many of us have taken those paths as well? So we have to think about what we do, our way of living, our way of sharing what we perceive as love as well. So our Father Jesus reveals. So when I was 15 years old, believe it or not, my mother did remarry. And my stepfather belonged to a Spiritist center. So remember, I came from Catholic. They got married. We now are introduced to Spiritism. And for me, it was a little hard because I didn't understand what that meant. And just the word spirit, I have to say, my heart palpitated. Like, what is that? Because we were coming from a different aspect that, God isn't with you. He was like somewhere up there looking at us. And the only time you would actually, like, at least for us, we were as the nine sisters, we would do our moments of playing around, and a nighttime when, especially when you actually visited the church, you had to like confess, and I was always good no matter what the priest said. I was telling him I was doing all the right things, that I was, being good with my sisters and doing everything my parents would say. But it was very important for me because I couldn't make the distinction of understanding as I'm going into a Spiritist center, what that really meant for me. And it was a time for me of confusion, a time of that I felt even growing up. And remember, I told you I had a lot of family, right? Nine sisters, four brothers. But for me, there was something inside me that felt alone. I felt alone. Have you ever been in a room with people and you just feel alone? Or that no one sees you? Or you're just going through something and you're not understanding if anyone is seeing your pain, is seeing who you are. And being in the middle of all those siblings, I have to tell you, there were many times I didn't think I was seen or felt or anything like that. And now being a mother myself, I can understand. I have two children and my mother had 13. I cannot imagine what that is all about because if we have what we do today, and I find it a lot, I can't imagine raising 13 with three jobs and making sure we were truly taken care of. But at that time, that loneliness and that absence in my heart made a difference in where I was going, my journey. And it was something that Spiritism, through the light of Jesus, was teaching me something very important. I was learning that God was not up there. Yes, God is the supreme intelligence, right? Creator of all things. But above all, God is love. And I did not understand what that was. Even hearing the word, sometimes someone says, I love you. Do you really feel it at times? Or do you question like, yeah, okay, thank you. That's good. But do you really feel it? And there was a point in time where not understanding what that meant mattered to me because I felt like I was always seeking something. I was seeking love. I was seeking how to understand it, how to be in a room and still feel that love, how to be in the presence of someone and understand it. Even now today, situations that we go through, how many times do we feel alone? How many times do we wish somebody called us or texted us or said, I'm here for you? Or out of the blue, you get a call and it was just what you needed. Someone to support you, to be there and say, you know what? It's okay. We're going to go through this journey together, because that's what love is. So it was a different type of growing and a destiny towards progress, that in seeing God in that perspective, that I needed to understand. And it was interesting because our brother Jesus reveals to us that God is our Father. He showed us that through his perfect expression of love. So for me, when Jesus was here and I'm hearing all these stories, healing the sick, taking care of your brothers and sisters, everything that Jesus has gone through this path as a guide and model, to see that true love, that compassion, that leaving of yourself to help others, made me understand. I learned through stories. I don't know if you guys do, but I love stories. And every time I see a story or hear a story, to me, that's a learning moment. It's a moment that I can reach out and understand that, because it cannot just be words spoken out. By seeing it and seeing it in action, for me, I understand more. I understand that guidance and I understand that love. So I don't know if you all the same way, that sometimes a story reaches more than just words. So I hope through this journey that we're understanding that whole process of love through our Father. Because of God's love for us, it is through the loving spirits through and Jesus and the guidance model that showed us the path for eternal love for our Father. We do not learn from concepts. We learn from our Father's genuine love. So that's important. And keep in mind, I keep saying our Father, because even having our own physical father, it's important to understand that above all that, above our parents, there is God, And keep in mind, I always thought far away, right? God was far away. But in reality, as I was understanding through the Spiritist concepts, that it was closer than I thought. So I wanted to talk about some of these stories and that captured my heart. And I know you guys are very familiar with this one, so I just wanted to quickly read a little synopsis of it. So it says, this is from Juana de Cusa, Love and Service. So I personally love learning through stories, like I mentioned, more than definitions. Let us look at the scene from Jesus' life as told by Humberto de Campos through Chico Xavier. Juana de Cusa lived a life marked by serene faith and quiet suffering. Though noble and respected in society, her greatest trial was within her own home. Her husband, Cusa, did not accept the gospel and shifted his beliefs according to conveniences and power, leaving Joanna, alone in her spiritual longing. Troubled by this decision and seeking guidance, she approached Jesus with her fear and pain, asking how to live faithfully without destroying the peace of her household. Jesus did not tell her to argue, impose, or correct. Instead, he revealed the Father's love by teaching her that God does not force truth, but transforms hearts through patience, service, and silence. He invited Joanna to love her husband not as an obstacle, but as the divine material entrusted to her care, calling her to serve with tenderness and fidelity rather than fear. It is a love defined not as sentiments or agreements, but as surrender, endurance, quietly, and with charity. Joanna's life became a living gospel, showing that true love reflects the Father when it remains faithful even in misunderstood loves, without condition, and trusts God enough to serve without recognition. One of the stronger scenes that we have within that story is Joanna de Cusa, when love that remains faithful. So in this summary, at the height of the Roman persecutions, Joanna de Cusa is condemned alongside her son, facing death. Her child pleaded with her to renounce Jesus, to save many so they may live. In that moment, Joanna stands between two loves, her love for her son and her love for God. She remembered Mary at the foot of the cross. She remembers Jesus' words, be faithful. Joanna does not reject her son. She loves him deeply, but she refuses to teach him fear instead of the truth. She refuses to teach him that fear. When mocked by her executioners and asked if Christ only taught her how to die, she answered with quite strength, not only how to die, but how to love. In that moment, Joanna revealed the highest form of love, a love that remains faithful under suffering, forgiveness, even in executioners, and trusted God when everything else is taken away. So to me, I love this story because it talks about that faith of service. So from Joanna to Jesus and the gospel according to Spiritism, the question may be, what is love that exists before memory and remains after suffering? My spiritual development was transformed by stories, especially from the gospel, as Jesus taught us how to love through service. Joanna de Cusa learned from Jesus that love does not impose, does not argue, and does not force. Love serves in silence. Love remains faithful. Love transforms through patience, and love is strongest when it is surrendered. Joanna was loved before memory. She was tested through suffering, educated through surrender, faithfully taught silence, and transformed through love. Spiritist wisdom strengthens this message of love. Spiritist explains that God is the supreme intelligence, first cause of all things, and perfect in love and justice. Spiritism invites us to know God through laws, effects, orders, conscious, and love in action. We know God by what produce. We know God what produces, just like, for example, when we go outside and we feel the wind, we don't see the wind, but we definitely feel it. And that's no different than God's love. We have to feel everything in our lives. We have to feel that love. We have to feel that passion. And it all starts within ourselves, within inside. So the powerful words that Jesus has said, Father, not my will, but yours be done. Because of my upbringing, my apologies, I imagine God very far from me. He was God, and I am a sinner in as a different entity. I did not have a relationship with God. I just asked for forgiveness without understanding. I never understood God to be a father because he was God. And for me, every time, like when I was telling you when I was growing up and we were being brought to give our confessions, so it felt very different. It felt far away. And it was so important for me to acknowledge that I didn't feel it inside. When Jesus called God Father, he is not describing God as a form. He is describing God's love, the love that he has for us, an inner relationship from our hearts, minds, and spirits as a co-creator that we are. I didn't understand God's will, as impatient as I am. Tonight, when we speak of God, we are not speaking of an image to be imagined, but of love to be recognized. So this is my story of love before memory as I journey back to our Father's heart. For me, when I look back at how the kiss and the love aligns in this journey, I see my first kiss as genuine love without memory from my mother, from my father, or from whoever gave me the kiss. Forgotten but full of love. Judas's kiss is an image without intention. It is a kiss that is remembered but empty of love. Jesus is love revealed through action. Our Father is as love without condition. Joanna de Cusa is surrender, love without control. I would like my final story of my heart towards our Father. So I want to share my story. So all of this is to let you know that as I was growing up, we were, like I said, a big family. We started within the Catholic faith and then transitioned into Spiritism. And for me, it was a moment that when I was growing up, I never imagined what my life would be not having what I have today. And what that means is, as we were transitioning to our faith into the new world that we had of Spiritism, that I finally understood what it was, um, it opened my heart. I never felt so much fulfillment and joy inside of me. I never knew that I was seeking and longing for such love until it actually happened. And I remember when we were having our first conversation that we actually got to the spiritual plane and having that conversation, I never felt so much love from our guides and truly understanding, God's love for us, to understand that God is not far away, but is a part of me, that God is inside me. And it is through me feeling his love and compassion and growing that we all grow as well. That our choices matter, that how we treat each other matters. That if you're feeling alone, it is my not responsibility, but yet responsibility to make sure that you're okay, to go and find where you are at, to meet you where you are at, not to make my problems and my situations bigger than God is, and to tell my problems about my God because he is greater. So I have learned that it is through this faith of Spiritism, honestly, that it helped me develop to the person that I am today. I know how to love better. I understand myself better. Like Mackenzie was saying in the story developed today, even understanding ourselves better and forgiving myself above all, to accept myself as nervous as I may be, to forgive myself as flawed that I am, but to understand that this is how God created me and it is okay. It is okay to be me. It is okay to be you. And it is okay to grow together, because through my pain, it could be an example for you, just like your pain can be an example for me. And it is working together that we may move forward. Let's never forget about the love that we have for each other. We're so wrapped up in our daily lives of working. I don't know about you guys. I think 8 hours exceeds more than what we should be working. But sometimes we're there, 10 hours, 12 hours. There might be laws that says, you should be taking breaks, but how many of us just eat in front of our desk just because we have no time? How many of us don't even have a chance to leave our desks or stations because just the demands of our daily lives? We're so tired. We come here not to do anything more than just to remember love. At least for me, I realize that I'm going to my Spiritist Center to remember love. Why remember? Because we get caught up in our daily lives. We get caught up in our work. We get caught up that when we go home, we still got to clean the house. We got to cook for ourselves. We might have to do other things that we didn't plan. We have emergencies. And then again, after we're done, we wake up in the morning to do it all over again. Lord, give me strength. How many of us have going through that? How many of us are going through school? How big are those studies that you still got to make it work? Still going through the educational process because you want something better for yourself. And not only for yourself, for those around you. It is my hopes that as I keep growing, because I know I'm growing, that the love that I have inside that has helped me develop through, believe it or not, my director for our center is here. I absolutely love him. Why? Because when I came into Spiritism, he helped me understand, and he's like a father to me. It's funny because we have our families, we have our mothers, our brothers and sisters, but when we make true, genuine relationships, it surpasses those boundaries. It is unlimited love for someone to care for you so much, to say, it's okay what you're going through. I am here for you. And not only that, sometimes there's no words and things appear. Sometimes you just have nothing to eat or not enough money for gas, and yet God provides. The message is being sent to someone, and someone is providing that through the services of love from God to you, because you are never forgotten. And it is important for us to remember our Father's journey, our personal journey. And I love that we each have our own story. And I wanted to share mine because, as crazy as one little aspect of my life is, I feel it was important for my growth and my development to understand love. And even now, to understand the true aspect of what love means, my capacity is still very short in understanding what true love is, to the aspect of how our guiding model showed us, of how God wants us to be. We are harder on ourselves than God could ever be. We talk so hard to ourselves when God doesn't even do that to ourselves. We come here looking for love, but in essence, love was already inside us before we were created. We come here through the veil, through birth and forgetfulness, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. We're just going through a process, because how great is it that we're learning to love again, learning to forgive again, learning to share again. How many of us are going through those pains? How many of us have just had days that you just want to give up? The quiet nights in your pillow that you cry and nobody hears you. At least you think nobody hears you, because God is always with us, right? The spiritual plane is always with us. And there's no love that wouldn't reach where you are at. We make choices, sometimes thinking they're the best for all of us, and yet we fall. But the important thing is to lift yourself up from those moments, because that's what's going to define you. The fact that you're moving forward, that you're saying, yes, I made a mistake. I am human and it's okay, because I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make sure to make it better. I'm going to make sure that the love that I feel inside me is emanated in everyone I see. Why? Not just for them, but I need to know that I'm doing it, that I'm feeling that love, that I didn't come here just to receive that love from God in the spiritual plane. I came here to give you my love. Why? Because I feel I have so much of it that I want to give it to all of you, to give you energy and love and peace, to know that you are never alone, to know that no matter where you find yourself, God is there. Wherever you are at, He is with you. Those steps that you're taking, Jesus has taken them with you as well. Let's follow that path. Let's follow that line, that journey. Follow your story. Remember who you were, even from being born here. You were created divinely special. Don't let the things in our lives bring you down. Don't let it make you heavy. As a matter of fact, just like you have these heavy coats because of the winter that we're having right now, when you take it off, that relief that you feel, let go of all these baggages that we have, all this sadness that we have, all the pressures that we have. Let's just let go of them, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who's choosing what to carry. It's not God telling you to carry it. You are choosing to carry these things, and you have the choice to let it go. Let go of the things that do not benefit you and those around you. Now carry the things that will, because they might be heavy, but the threshold to get to where you need to be, it's even more expansive. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you understand what love is. It's going to make you achieve your dreams. It's going to make you do the impossible things, because every time you wake up, you're going to say, I am worthy. I know what I want to do today, and I'm going to focus on that positiveness. Your mind will only feed you what you give it. And if you're going to give yourself all these negative things, don't be surprised on how hard your life is. Just don't be surprised. But imagine if you did the opposite. If every day you woke up and just fed yourself positive things, positive affirmations of yourself, that you too are beautiful. How hard is it for our own selves to say that in the mirror, because we're the first ones looking for all the flaws, all the errors. But imagine if we did the opposite and just accepted ourselves as God created us to be. That love, from a simple kiss to a simple embrace, to a simple just sharing of the heart, an expansion of love for all. Can you imagine if everyone did that every single day? How can the world not move forward? How can we not change? How can we not make this world a better place? It is important for us to move forward in the pathways of love as God intended it to be. Do not hold yourself back in all the heaviness of life and all the things that you feel you need to accomplish and yet it feels impossible to do. Remember, there's nothing impossible in this world, just impossible people with impossible thoughts. because God already has planned your success. It's just a matter of you making it happen. It takes you to make that happen. It takes your love, your compassion, and your path to do so. There's many stories that I shared with you today, and as nervous as my voice may be, know that I truly meant it with a lot of love, because that's what we need to do for each other. It's not just coming here and hearing me speak. It's letting yourself open up your heart to say, you know, no matter how hard the things that I'm going through right now, it's okay because I know it's going to get better. I know I have the strength inside me, as sometimes it feels like you don't, but you do. You're created divine with all the tools necessary for you to move forward. Don't let anything hold you back in what you need to do. Don't let anything, including your own self, because we're the first ones to be that obstacle, to hold you back in your greatness. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for allowing me to love you. And I thank you because without you, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And you're saying, we just met each other. I don't see it that way. I think God places us where we need to be, and we meet people in our paths that are going to help us, whether it's family, friends that become family, ties that you would never thought would be possible. Apologize for those that you feel you have hurt, for those whose heart you have, damaged in a way, or even said words that was so negative and so powerful that affected them. Allow yourself forgiveness, because just like the heavy coat that you're wearing, let go of that. You do not need to be a part of that or hold that forever. How long are you willing to put bricks in your backpack, carry it with you through life, pass on to the spiritual plane, and yet continue with that backpack? Imagine how heavy that could be. So why would we not love ourselves? Why would we not move forward in God's love and grace? We are given the opportunity to understand Spiritism as a guide to continue Jesus's work, because we did not understand it at that point in time. But imagine us working together to make it happen, to be that story when we forget. I love that the spiritual plane shares those stories, and we have so many books and so many different stories that open our hearts and even touch them. And it's funny because it could be that a book that touches my heart doesn't touch yours, but there's another one that does. And it's meeting us where we are, because the stories are almost like a reflection to us. It says that you can recognize in someone else. Like if you recognize a lot of negative things in someone else, then believe it or not, that's just a reflection of yourself. That's why you can identify with it. But imagine if you see the positive things in someone, that's still a reflection of you. Wouldn't you want that kind of reflection instead of the other? So why wouldn't we treat each other and love each other to the maximum? We know what we need to do, and that's the funny part. We know what we need to do. But how often do we put it aside just to do other things that may not need that kind of attention? What have you focused on right now that is consuming you? Is it your job? Not just one job? Maybe two jobs that you have? Or maybe you were like my mom that had three, just to make ends meet. What is consuming you, and why are you allowing it? Only you can control your life. Only you know what path needs to happen. And if you're not happy where you are, only you can make that change. Nobody else can make it for you. So why not follow the journey of love? Remembering that first kiss, because that's what's telling you there is you were loved before you were born here. You were loved. Are you hearing me out there? Are you guys listening? You are loved. You are truly loved. And sometimes we forget that. We let sadness consume us. We let anxiety consume us. Stress. And for what? Just to get physically hurt and ill? For what? It's not even worth it. So let's focus on the things that we need to do to transform and be better people. From my heart to yours, I'm telling you today, if no one has said it today, on the month that is expression of love, that I love each and every one of you. That I thank you for opening your hearts to me. And above all, for helping me understand the journey of all the people that God has placed in my life to help me get there. For all the blessings that I have and still are coming through. For all the hard moments where I thought there was no escape, but yet were the biggest teachers for me. Thank you, God. Thank you for being such a good teacher. Thank you for allowing the master of pain to help me transform because I wasn't listening. Thank you for that because I was the one who chose it. Thank you for helping me pause and say, you need to change, you need to do better. Because sometimes I forget. Just like when we were born, we forget when that first kiss came from. I want to thank you for your kindness, for your love and understanding. I hope you enjoyed the journey that I have taken you today and know that you are blessed, you are loved always through our Father's eyes. We are all His children, correct? So let's move forward as a family that we are, doing better today than yesterday, and tomorrow better than today. Que así sea. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Is there anything else to be said? Yeah, wow is right. There were a lot of, I mean, a few people watching online and said good things and that they love you too, and that the message was taken. So I have to thank everyone who was watching, who is still watching us, and thank you, Maria, for bringing the message, um, not only through words, because, like you said, I mean, words and concepts are stuff for the mind, but once we once we hear, not only listen to, but we hear the idea and we feel it, that's when it can really change us. And so we can we have we have talked in the past of you coming here, and uh, was never apparently allowed for you to come here. And tonight you are here. And tonight um, you didn't only say words, you felt words, and you blessed us with your words. We are always grateful for this sharing of love, always. And every time we see each other, every time I go there, every time you guys come here, was I was looking at some photos of you guys singing, and um, I'd say it's more like a prayer than a singing than singing. It's the music. It just it lifts us up so much that it's more like a prayer than a music. And I was seeing some photos of your meetings and our meetings, and it just brings this joy to our heart, and this love that you showered us with tonight is deeply felt and mutually felt as well. So thank you for coming. I hope it's, like as I said to Eric, I hope it's the first of 1,000 other times that we can share stories and feel stories and share this love, share this mutual love. I'd just like to remind everyone, or let everyone know that Maria and Eric and Figueroa, they are from a Espírita Center that now lives in Fitchburg. They lived in the Espírita Center was in Leominster for the longest time, but for a few years they moved to Fitchburg. And if you're in the area on a Wednesday night, they always have their meetings on Wednesday nights there, and they are very welcoming. And so if you want to visit, if you want to stop by, it's I'm inviting everybody to go there. I know that you didn't, but I'm inviting. I love going there, and whenever I can, not all the time, but whenever I can. And How old is the group again? I keep forgetting. 30 years already? 27 years. So it's not they didn't start like yesterday. So they've been around for quite a while. We are gonna, I think we are 24. So they've been doing this for, they're our older brothers and sisters, right? Their first kiss was a little longer ago than our first kiss. um, so they've been doing it, and their group is wonderful. So whenever if you want to know more, just ask them whenever, and or ask me if they're not here. Um, so I'm inviting everybody to go there whenever you can. It's a wonderful place to be too. So and I think that we're getting to the end of our meeting. I'm not sure how are we still gonna have some passes? What, Lucas, how are we still gonna have the passes? What can we do our final prayer? Okay, good. So I'm just gonna give a few announcements here. So we usually have on Tuesday nights, we have our meeting that we are studying the book Paul and Stephen. It's from 7 to 8:30. But for the next 3 weeks, we're gonna pause the study because we're gonna have a course on past giving. So Shayla is gonna be here for 3 Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30 to do a course on giving passes. So um, just to let everybody know, if you want to know, if you want to, it's for everybody, for people that want to know more, even if they've been already doing passes. If they haven't, if they want to know what it is, how it's done, they're gonna be um, um, the practical side with practice, and also the theoretical side, explaining what's behind it, how it's done, and what it is. So gonna be for the next three Tuesdays, the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. So tomorrow, the next, and the other. And then in March, we come back with the studies of the book Paul and Stephen. This Saturday, we're gonna have our meetings that starts at 7, and we'd like to invite also everybody to, if you don't do it already, to do what we call the gospel at home, or God at home, Evangelio en el hogar, right? As you say in Spanish. And so it's one day that we take in our houses, and we sit down we choose one day a week for about 15 minutes or half an hour, get a book, to read a message, to discuss the message, to invite the good spirits to our home, to invite Jesus to our home, so that we can bless our houses, and also we end up blessing the surroundings, our neighbors, and our neighborhood is always blessed as well. So it's always one of the good tools that we can practice to, or can have to practice, and to bring more love to the world as well, not only amongst ourselves, but to our surroundings. Um, is there anything else that I'm forgetting, or no, right? I think, yeah, so those were our um, main announcements. Next month, we don't have the schedule up yet, but on the second Monday of the month, we're gonna be here for another English speaking talk. Maybe it will be me. I'm not sure. But before you leave, don't rush. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. Let's talk so that we see whenever we can, because people are getting tired of me. You know what I mean? So I come here, Portuguese, English. Portuguese, it's Mackenzie. So let's invite other people to come here and say their messages. And um, so with this, let's do our final prayer. And once again, it was it is and was a pleasure. It was and it is a pleasure to have you guys here. So even if you're also, like I said, if we're going to the Fitchburg, may we stop there. If you're around here, just stop here to see us. I know it's kind of like an hour away, but or more than an hour away, but so it is with our hearts lighthearted, because of all the joy and all the love that we feel and that we felt tonight. We would like to give big thanks to the good spirits that are always around us, helping us, inspiring us, inviting us to join the good thoughts, the good feelings, the good deeds that our dear friend and Master Jesus came here to show us, not only to speak to us, but to show us to live those feelings of love, to live these feelings of sharedness, of togetherness, of being with people, of walking together, of living their lives, of smiling, of caring them. So thank you, good spirits, for showing us, for being there for us, for being here at Cantinho de Luz, for being at all Spiritist centers, not only in Massachusetts, but all around the world, and not only to Spiritist centers, to every single place, trying to help us, trying to invite us to see the goodness, to feel the goodness, so that we can spread the goodness. So, dear Master Jesus, thank you for your love, for your patience with all of us. And thank you for tonight's lecture, so that we can be reminded, we could be reminded that we are loved, that we have been loved, and we will always be loved. So thank you, dear Master, and also thank God for being our Father, not only who are in heaven, but who are in our hearts, making our hearts part of this heaven that is so filled with light, with love, and with compassion. May this love follow us wherever we are, fill our hearts, fill our souls, and make us love more and more, not only tonight, but forever and ever. So be it. So be it. So with this, we're going to go to the passes. I think that Lucas are all right. And so we'd like to thank you, everybody that was here. Thanks the ones who are watching online, or maybe will watch it later. And we're just going to close it up. And then once the passes are done, we will go back home. Let's finish one pass here, there, and start.